Young Americans are the leading voice for patriotism in America, from back when our nation was first founded to today in 2021. My name is Isabel Brown, and I'm a spokesperson for Turning Point USA and the winner of the 2019 Under 30 Speech Contest at the Western Conservative Summit. Turning Point USA is the nation's largest and fastest growing youth conservative organization, and we're working with the Western Conservative Summit this year to bring you the winner of the Under 30 Speech Contest. Please welcome Melissa Woodford.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Melissa Woodford. I am thrilled to be representing this year's Turning Point USA Under 30 Speech Contest winner. Before I begin, I would just like to extend my thanks to Isabel Brown of Turning Point USA, as well as Jeff Hunt with the Western Conservative Summit, as well as the Centennial Institute. American writer and frontiersman Elbert Hubbard said, "Responsibility is the price of freedom." If you were to choose freedom-loving leaders for our country, would you choose weak, undisciplined, fearful snowflakes on college campuses? Who need therapy goats in a safe space? Who are afraid to hear a different opinion and who are ill-equipped to publicly debate, instead shouting down others to squelch free speech? Who rely on the government for everything, including college, healthcare, and even how to think? Or would you want frontier, freedom-loving Americans who are courageous, optimistic, patriotic, resourceful, self-sufficient, and self-governed, who are open to debating both sides of the issues, and who can guide our country back on track for good? Our country needs a recovery of the spirit of the American West, self-governance, and frontier freedom. On my first day of homeschooling, when I was only 5 years old, I had to learn how to be self-governed. I had to know how to get started on my tasks quickly and to finish on time. If I didn't want someone ruling over me, I had to basically know how to control myself. Today, first, I'll be discussing what is poisoning our culture right now, and second, how we can restore our faith, family, and freedom using the ideals of the frontiersmen of the American West. So first, one of those things that's poisoning our country today is that we've seen an abandonment of this idea of self-governance. We're seeing an infiltration of Marxist ideology, and we're seeing a stew of wokeness, intersectional ideology, critical race theory, left-wing social justice, and transgenderism. We're also seeing a major disrespect for an originalist understanding of our Constitution. Virtue is lacking because there's a lack of trust in the scriptures and an exchange in belief in God with the poisonous substitute of intrusive, micromanaging, and burdensome government. No wonder we're seeing so many snowflakes on college campuses today. There are even college professors that are saying that things like grading English papers and grading math is racist. A chart from the National Museum of African American History and Culture says that there was a list of qualities that were considered to be bad and examples of white supremacy. You ready? They were self-reliance, decision-making, being polite, being on time, having hard work ethic and working before you play, delayed gratification, and the nuclear family. There's certain left-wing college professors that are suggesting that people of color can't even have any of these characteristics. But how racist is that? This is a perfect example of the bigotry of low expectations. What do you think would happen if people like the Tuskegee Airmen, for instance, didn't have these traits? Or what about people like Ben Carson, Justice Thomas, or Thomas Sowell? Did they exhibit these character traits? Of course, any successful person of any ethnicity has had these traits. So besides seeing an abandonment of this idea of self-governance and a decline in morality, we're also seeing something poisoning our country called therapeutic totalitarianism. And this is a term which comes from Rod Dreher's book, Live Not by Lies. This term basically just means that the government does everything for our health and our safety, but it's really not. And it's always done under the guise of an emergency. It's the classic dilemma of freedom versus security, where security always wins. And just like in Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, He said to never waste a good crisis. That's exactly how things happen when you have therapeutic totalitarianism. So, after 9/11, the government set up the Transportation Security Administration, and this was done under an emergency. But here we are today, 20 years later, and we still have it, and we think it's totally normal. So, with this COVID crisis and this emergency that we had by government, the government totally went beyond its bounds and went out of control with trying to regulate everything. They've canceled funerals and weddings. They took a parent with a 2-year-old child off a plane and forcefully removed them. And they even arrested a lone windsurfer who was standing out in the middle of the ocean, for Pete's sake. This has gone out of control. My own mother, she was taken off Facebook for 3 whole months. And even I experienced this while I was an outspoken Christian conservative journalism student at the University of Central Florida. We have seen an acquiescence and a blind compliance of spineless Americans. Where are the frontier freedom-loving Americans? There's a man named Daniel Boone who was definitely a frontier freedom-loving American. He had some true grit. He was captured by the Shawnees and he escaped. He was shot in the ankle. He had a daughter who was kidnapped, and he had 10 kids. Not like 3 or 4 kids, 10 kids. When someone asked him what the secret ingredient to a happy life was, he said, a good gun, a good horse, and a good wife. If a modern-day snowflake were to come up to Daniel Boone and ask why the government wasn't giving them free tuition or free health care, and started complaining about the government not giving them therapy goats, I think Daniel Boone would have straight up laughed in their face. It's time we had enough of these weaklings. The early pioneers didn't have the government handing everything out to them. All they had was grit and optimism. They had to know how to face harsh conditions and diseases like cholera, dysentery, typhoid fever, ice-cold winters, confrontations with the Indians, and prairie fires. Their own kids learned to shoot when they were only 5 or 6 years old. They embraced our Second Amendment right to bear arms, our freedom of religion, assembly, privacy from government, and our freedom of petition. They assessed massive risk for themselves and decided that in the end, it was all worth it. Frederick Jackson Turner was someone who was known for his frontier thesis. According to an article called How the American Frontier Shaped the American Character from AmericanHeritage.com, Turner believed that the pioneers' mobility, optimism, inventiveness, and innovation were all frontier traits. He knew that the pioneers were used to moving over and over again, and that they saw the world through rose-colored glasses. Turner believed that Americans also had a distinctive brand of individualism, and they didn't like the government interfering in their economic functions, which made them unique. Americans need to stop being lethargic and politically disengaged and get a backbone. Stop acting like the government can solve all of our problems for us. Instead, we need a culture shift. So, to do that, here are some action steps we can take. Number 1, parents, teach your children to be self-governed. Number 2, work hard like the frontiersmen and get some grit like Daniel Boone. Number 3, vote for politicians who want limited government and who will always strive to uphold and protect our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. And number 4, do not remain silent about this. Speak up about this with your friends and family and talk about it even if it has ramifications at your job. Do not kowtow to the left on this issue out of fear. And just remember what Edmund Burke said. He said the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And put another way, Lynn Nofziger once said, freedom is our most precious commodity, and if we are not eternally vigilant, the government will take it away. One thing is that the early pioneers had individual responsibility, and we always have to know that individual freedom demands individual responsibility. Martin Niemöller once said, first, they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. Next, they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. And then last of all, they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. I pray that one day I will have children of my own, And I pray that they will have the same freedoms that I had growing up, especially my freedom of religion to worship Jesus Christ. But one thing I know is that if they do not, it will not be because I did not speak up. As Rod Dreher says in his book, Live Not by Lies, under the right conditions, yes, therapeutic totalitarianism can happen here. It won't happen in the same way as in Russia and Eastern Europe. The parallels between a declining United States and a pre-revolutionary Russia are not exact, but they are unnervingly close. Today's modern-day snowflakes are debating what pronouns they should use, but I don't think Daniel Boone had time for that when he was trying to figure out how to grapple with grizzly bears or cross icy rivers. Instead, let's go back to that American spirit of hard work ethic, morality, and self-governance. And let's get back to that American frontier freedom. Thank you.